Okay, I guess I could talk about this trade. I really wasn't going to do a video on this trade because I don't think this is a very significant trade. But the only reason why I'm making a video on this trade is because the news is kind of dead in the NBA world. And a lot of these talking heads on these radio shows and talk shows, as well as these content providers in YouTube, as well as social media, has been mentioning this trade. So here we go. So basically, Patrick Beverley was traded to the Lakers in return. The Utah Jazz got Stanley Johnson as well as THT, which, by the way, what a difference a year makes. The Los Angeles Lakers front office, as well as LeBron James, were fast and quick on the mic saying, we're not trading THT to no one, okay? He's very valuable to the Los Angeles Lakers organization. And they let him go quick, fast, and in a hurry. Stanley Johnson, they was waiting patiently to pick him up off waivers. And they was talking some high glowing marks about him. Anywho, Stanley, and I think they traded for Stanley Johnson, but that's neither here nor there. But anywho, let's talk about the trade. I don't think this trade makes either of these teams important. I don't think this trade, without a shadow of a doubt, means that either of these teams are going to the playoffs. Obviously, Utah is rebuilding with Danny Ainge over there. He's got some more trade packages in return for draft picks for other teams out there, as well as the Los Angeles Lakers. As far as the Los Angeles Lakers go, I don't see this trade being significant for them from the perspective of the defense. I guess Patrick Beverley can bring some defensive intensity because the Lakers were lacking in defense last year, and they wanted Patrick Beverley to shore up the defensive front. Instead of being a finesse shooting type of team that shoots outside the three-point line, this team is going, one of their calling cards are going to be a strong-minded, defensive-oriented team, and Patrick Beverley can help the Lakers' woes in that department. I feel like at the end of the day, Patrick Beverley is going to be a floater. He's going to help out a lot of people that the Lakers have that are not that great on defense or chooses not to play defense. Most notably, one LeBron James and the cast of characters over there with the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be an irritant. He's going to, be sort of like a Draymond Green for the Golden State Warriors, except Draymond Green is way taller than Patrick Beverley and can do multiple things besides just play defense. Now, the problem with this, to me, is if Patrick Beverley was in the 80s or in the early 90s, this man would be a multi-millionaire because there would be tons of teams swooping in asking for the services of one Patrick Beverley. He'll be extremely valuable. But when you're talking about this present day NBA league, defense is really not that important. It's not the calling card on a lot of teams. And a lot of teams, the only reason why they go to defense because they're not that talented on the skill set. They're not the best finesse team, the best athletic team, the best outside scoring team. And there's a handful of teams that fit that criteria, and the Los Angeles Lakers are one of them. So they're going to hang their hat on the defensive end. And how the rules are, you can't really touch anybody on the defensive end. You can't hand check. You can't pull, tug. And Patrick Beverley has a reputation. A lot of referees are going to blow the whistle real fast on Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley's also a hothead. When he don't get his way, he starts shoving players. He's going to cause nightmares for the Lakers on the standpoint of suspensions and fines and things of that nature. But in the early stages of the season, they're going to say, oh, that's just passion. That's how Patrick Beverley plays, until it costs the Lakers down the road in the later on in the season. And then the Lakers are going to say, well, Patrick Beverley, he's going to have to do a little bit better not getting fouls or technicals, anything that's going to hurt the team. So you're gonna see one wave of, oh, he's so passionate. Okay, it's okay for him to get techs and fouls and being fouled out the game. It's okay. And then later on, they're gonna say, hey, he's going to tighten up on that because we're struggling. We're in Struggleville. So I don't see this trade at the end of the day being very significant for the Los Angeles Lakers as far as them making a run deep into the playoffs. I don't think with this trade, Utah, on the other hand, let's talk about Utah. I don't think that it equates to them having a better team. THT, he can bring something to the Utah Jazz, but on a smaller level. I don't think THT he's a jack of all trades, but not a master of none. He's not the best scorer. He's not the best perimeter guy. He's not the best defender. He dibbles and dabbles, and he's good in certain segments, but he's not a high level max type of player. He's just a jag, just another guy. As far as Stanley Johnson goes, it would not surprise me none if Utah waives him or buys him out or whatever the case may be with his contract. I don't know how many years he has on this contract. I don't know if he's at his final year with this contract. But, Stanley Johnson is pretty much in the same boat as THT. He's a jack of all trades, but not a master of none. He's not the best at one certain thing or multiple certain things. I mean, they're like flashes here and there. Okay, you see flashes from either of these players here and there. So at the end of the day, yes, you could tell that there's a lot of talking heads out there on social media, on television, and on radio that's talking about this, regurgitating this trade, how this is a phenomenal trade. But at the end of the day, it's not going to mean a hill of beans for the Los Angeles Lakers. It's going to solve some of their problems. Sorry about the noise in the background, but it's not going to solve all of their problems. Okay, I feel like they're going to struggle on the offensive side of things. I think this team is struggling with an identity. They have an identity crisis. I think this team leans way too much on LeBron James and put a lot of problems on LeBron James' shoulders. LeBron is only getting older, folks, not younger, and he's also got other things. He also got other things in the fire, like getting Kareem's record and playing long enough to play alongside his son for 1 year. I just feel like LeBron has other things that he's concerned and worried about. They're hoping for AD to wake up and take the reins of this team, and it just seems like AD is complex. He's he's not he's just there to be there, and he's showing a lot of signs of what he was showing with the New Orleans Pelicans. All right, so you get what you pay for, Los Angeles. You mortgage all your future, your young talent, your draft picks for one ring, pretty much, and that's it. Okay, so at the end of the day, I just don't see this trade being a big for either of these teams. If you have to pick a winner in this, a lot of people are logically going to say, oh, of course, Patrick Beverley going to the Lakers. But does this trade make the Lakers any better with the better teams out west? Does this trade signify that the Golden State Warriors, they're better than the Golden State Warriors? Are they better than are they better than Golden State Warriors, the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat? Maybe. What about the Bucks? I don't think so. What about the Mavs? I don't think so on that end. I think the Mavs are ready for a run. I think they're going to make it deep in the playoffs. What about the Clippers? I don't think this move makes them better than the Clippers, okay? It makes them a little bit better, but not a lot better, okay? Let's just put it like that way. So, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do a video on this, because at the end of the day, I mean, this trade doesn't signify nothing. It doesn't guarantee that the Lakers are going to make a run deep in the playoffs. I think it solves some problems, but not all problems. And you got a very emotional guy that's capable of doing anything and everything when he doesn't get his way. Look what when he did the playoff run with Utah. Look how that worked. Not for Utah, but for Minnesota. Didn't do anything for Minnesota. All right, he got him in the playoffs, but that's just about it. All right. But anywho, that's all I got for this. I just don't see this trade significantly makes any of these teams significantly better. A lot of people are going to logically think the Lakers won this trade, but me personally, I feel like I feel like the Jazz won this trade because they got two players that they're not locked in for multiple years. They're not locked into either of these players for the next 3 to 4 years. Okay, now they got a lot of maneuverability to either trade these guys or release them or just let them run the course of their contract and then they're gone. Okay, but that's it. I think basketball wise, it makes sense. I mean, I think Utah won this trade. I don't think if the Lakers, if anyone suggests the Lakers won this trade, then does this trade guarantees and locks the Lakers in as far as going into the going to the NBA Finals? I mean, let's just be real and let's be fair out there. And then does this trade indicate that they're better than the teams that were in the playoffs last year? I don't see it either. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm up out of here. Deuces.